Your dad stopped bringing it up at dinner. Your coworkers stopped asking. Even your landlord, the one person who should have wanted you to keep renting forever, pulled you aside once and said, "You know you're just paying my mortgage, right?" For 10 years, everyone in your life had an opinion about the fact that you rented a one-bedroom apartment instead of buying a house. 10 years of people who owned homes looking at you like you were the one making the mistake. Here's what none of them knew. The number sitting in your brokerage account right now is larger than what most of them have in home equity after 2 decades of mortgage payments. Not because renting is magic, because of one decision you made in year 1 that nobody else in your life was willing to make. I'm going to walk you through exactly what that decision was, the actual math behind it, and the one moment 10 years in where you almost gave in and bought anyway. Stay to the end because that moment is the whole point of this story. You're 27. Your best friend just closed on a house. Your sister just closed on a house. Every single person your age seems to be signing papers at a title company while you're renewing a lease on a place you don't even love that much. The math is what stops you, not fear. Math. The house everyone keeps sending you listings for runs $280,000. 20% down is $56,000 you don't have sitting around, even if you scraped together a smaller down payment. The mortgage alone would run $1,900 a month, before property tax, before insurance, before the roof that's going to need replacing in year 12, whether you're ready for it or not. Your rent right now is $1,300 a month. That $600 gap between what you're paying and what you'd be paying isn't nothing. It's the number that starts everything. Here's what you actually did, and it's the part that made people in your life uncomfortable, because it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a bold move. It was boring. You took that $600 gap, the difference between renting and what a mortgage payment would have cost you, and you automated it straight into a total market index fund the same week you signed your first lease, not what was left over at the end of the month. First, before anything else touched your account, $600 a month. Not a huge number. Nobody's impressed by $600 a month, but you also did something most renters never bother doing. Every time your rent went up, which happened 4 times over 10 years, you increased the automatic transfer by the same amount instead of just absorbing it into your budget. By year 6, you were investing $900 a month without ever really feeling it, because you'd never had that money to spend in the first place. Year 3 is when it got hard. Not because of money, because of a wedding. You're standing in your sister's new dining room, the one with the granite countertops she won't stop mentioning, and her husband asks you, not unkindly, when you're going to stop throwing money away on rent. You don't have a clever answer. You just say you're working on some things. You go home that night and actually run the numbers for the first time in a while. Your account is sitting at $31,000. Her equity, after 3 years of payments, mostly going toward interest, is around $14,000. You don't say anything at the next family dinner. You don't need to. You just keep the transfer running. Year 4, the market drops 18% in about 6 weeks. You watch $31,000 turn into roughly $25,000 in your account, in real time, while your phone keeps buzzing with news alerts about the crash. This is the part nobody tells you about renting and investing instead of buying. It's not calm. There's no fixed monthly payment building guaranteed equity while you sleep. There's just a number that goes down sometimes, badly, while people who bought houses get to feel like their choice was the safe one. You don't sell. You don't even check the account for about 6 weeks, mostly out of self-preservation. The automatic transfer keeps running the whole time, buying more shares while everyone else is panicking, without you doing anything at all. 11 months later, the account isn't just back to $31,000. It's at $44,000, because you kept buying the entire way down without meaning to. Year 8. This is the part I told you to wait for. A house comes up 2 streets from where you grew up. The kind of house you used to walk past as a kid and think, someday. It's not overpriced. Your account could actually cover a real down payment now without blinking. Your realtor friend sends you the listing at 11 p.m. and you sit there, staring at your phone for almost an hour. You run the numbers one more time, the same way you did in year 1. The mortgage payment, the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance fund you'd need to start from scratch. And you realize something uncomfortable. You weren't excited about the house. You were excited about finally being done explaining yourself. You don't buy it. You let the listing go. That's the closest this story ever comes to a dramatic moment. And even then, nothing happens. You just close the tab and keep paying rent. 10 years in, your account sits at $209,000. Your rent is now $1,900 a month, roughly what that mortgage would have cost you back in year 1. done, except you've never had to replace a roof, never paid a property tax bill, never once called a plumber at 11 at night because it was your problem to fix. Your sister's house, after 10 years of payments, has about $90,000 of equity, mostly from the market, appreciating around her rather than from the mortgage itself. Nobody brings up the apartment at dinner anymore. Nobody's asked you when you're going to stop throwing money away in about 4 years now. Your dad mentioned the number once, quietly, almost like he wasn't sure he was allowed to be impressed. This isn't a video telling you renting beats buying. Sometimes buying is exactly right. And if you'd stayed in that first apartment forever, with rent climbing every single year with no ceiling, this story ends completely differently. The actual decision that mattered wasn't renting versus buying. It was doing the boring, automatic thing with the gap between the two, every single month for 10 years, without letting anyone's dinner table opinion talk you out of it. If this helped you see the math differently, subscribe, because next week we're running the exact numbers on when buying actually does win. Tell me in the comments, are you team rent or team buy right now, and why?